I just realized that I've not had my mic active this entire time. Hey, well done, professional. So yes, we are here. We are ready. We should be good to go. We were just waiting on Evelyn return. She's been at work, so she is now here. We are ready to go. We'll start playing the D&D games once again. So let's quickly undeafen. Hello, everyone.
So, in other words, I think I'm an addict.
Wait, what was that, Kayla?
We had full context in that. Don't you fuck with me.
What was that?
Apparently there was some research in a certain cat treat brand I use that show that they might have some addictive properties. So my
So you're
definitely be an addict.
So your Gatsby's an addict. Got it.
Kitty crack.
Possibly.
Kitty crack. I like that. I like that very much. That's interesting. It's only been 2 weeks, but hey ho! Thank you very much, Dakota. Appreciate it. That's interesting because Dakota resubbed 2 weeks ago and then resubbed now.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
It's just that it's monthly. That's weird. That's very weird. If you resub 2 weeks ago, you shouldn't be able to resub now. Oh well. Right. So everyone's here. We're ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So, not last week, unfortunately, but the week before, as you guys will recall, you had finished making your way down south from what am I doing? Finished making your way down south from Whitestone after plane shifting towards Westerun. Actually, getting dropped off at Gat Shadow, the very old decrepit wizard tower that had been unused for a long time. Made your way back down to Westerun, where you spent your evening preparing for the potential flight over to Syngorn, but you're made aware that a lot of merchants and travelers would be making their way from a Westerun down to Syngorn as they're getting ready for the next shift of Syngorn to the Feywilds. You did manage to catch a ride with an elven individual who you agreed to pay for the travel down, so long as you were able to keep an eye out on him, be guards as such, as he claimed that there were a lot of bandits that may have been roaming the trail south from Westerun to Kaimal and from Kaimal to Syngorn, looking to potentially ambush a lot of carts and merchants for their wares, which you agreed upon. And you spent the next few days making your way down south towards Syngorn. Just as you reached the outskirts of the Say, the last leg of your journey, you did come across what looked to be an offering of sort to a deity that you were unsure of, and making the executive decision to not provide an offering to the deity, as you were unsure. It was left unkept. It wasn't really there was no defining information as to who the deity was. You could have been offering something to Tiamat for all you knew. You decided not to. However, that actually sprung forth a bit of bad luck as a Baelor and several of his dog-like minions erupted from the ground around you. And you initiated combat with the Baelor. You managed to defeat it, just almost several of you almost succumbing to your wounds in the death throes of the Baelor as it blew up, leaving the cart on fire after it had been slightly damaged before you'd set off for the to this offering, the shrine, that's the word I'm looking for, to this unknown god. And you're just on the outskirts of Syngorn. So that's where we'll pick up. What do you guys want to do?
Do you
Is
think
the cart
we
still on
should-
fire?
Yeah, should we let the cart out?
Yeah, the cart is still on fire.
Tori, have you got any of them tidal waves left?
I doubt it. So we go. He attempts to cast Tidal Wave, not knowing whether he's got any spell slots left.
I mean, if you have your character sheet open, you would know.
I've got my character sheet here. We've got some 5th level left.
You've got a 4th level that you could cast Tidal Wave at.
Yeah, but I'd rather use that for healing. I mean, can't he put his own damn cart out? It's magic, isn't it? I mean, you can make a magic cart that runs no horses. I'm sure it's got inbuilt.
And need I remind you that he is currently underneath said cart, which is on fire.
Hey, you're right over there.
Do you need help?
No response.
I'm gonna lift the cart.
Sorry, Temple, what were you doing there, sorry?
A temple is going to try and lift the cart so someone can get a look underneath.
Alright, go ahead and roll me a strength check. Nine. Try as you might, you're able to lift the cart about an inch before the heat of the flames start to lick at your form, and it becomes a little bit too unbearable as you then let go of the cart, unable to lift it completely.
Okay, this is bad. This is our ride to Syngorn. I think I'm going to cast a 4th level Tidal Wave.
Okay. You're just dropping it on the cart itself, yeah?
In a way that will do as much wetting to the to the cart as possible, and hopefully in a way that doesn't drown the guy underneath it. Although I have no control over it, so just it's a tidal wave. I mean, if man was supposed to control things like this.
All right. Yeah. Well, you're able to control the direction that it goes. So yeah, you're able to conjure the tidal wave
at the side which looks like it's most on fire and just.
Yeah, you drop it over the cart itself. You do hear the hissing of the flames being extinguished. A deep charcoal grey smoke billowing from the top of the cart. The cover of the cart does look to be quite badly burnt as the smoke begins to clear up after a few moments, and from underneath you do hear oh God. Oh, what happened?
Do you need more water? There's still smoke coming out?
No. There's smoke billowing it from. That's just from the steam mixed with smoke as the fires have been extinguished. It's just the remnants of the fire billowing away, and you do hear a voice from underneath the cart. A few moments go by, and as you take a look at the cart, assessing the damage, you do see the elven individual kind of push his way out from underneath. His face like covered black with soot. His clothes seem to be charred and burned in places, and he just looks up to you. He looks soaked clean through as well. He just looks to you all like, what happened?
Were you under there having a sleep?
No, I was trying to get the cart operational once again, and I heard growling and the sounds of a fight, so decided to stay somewhere where it might be safe, and then
Sleep it out until we nearly half died. I mean, look at the state of us.
he glances at you and then looks at himself, looks back up at you. I believe I was on fire at one point.
I think most of us were on fire at some point.
Well, it's just
The
simply
Baylor exploded.
a Balo, a demon. You do have some imagination there. Well, anyway, and you do. There's a just a flick of the wrist and a click of his fingers, and you do see his form slowly start to clean up. The suit disappears as hair and clothes begin to dry, and you just see him kind of pick at the burnt, charred bits of his clothing as he just simply will not do. If any of you would like to be freshened up, please let me know. I can make sure that you're looking as good as you can be before we enter the city proper. But for the time being, puts a hand up onto his shoulder, and you see a soft purple glow flow from his hands, and you see the fabric of his, like the charred fabric, begin to seal over and knit itself shut as he mends his clothing back together, and his appearance goes back to what it was beforehand.
Yeah, so we're all stood here. I mean, the three of us must be charred pretty black. I mean, a Baylor exploded.
Yeah, the only one that isn't really charred and black is Coralina, who's still about 30 odd feet away, unless you, of course, came walking back over, Coralina.
Is the Elvish gentleman like facing the general direction?
Yeah, he's like glancing from like the cart back to the general vicinity of all of you and back, and then down to himself. He's not focusing on any one person or object in particular. He just keeps looking around.
If there's a tree big enough, transposition behind the tree,
Mm-hmm.
disguise self, and like just walk back over to the cart.
Slowly walk back over. All right, cool.
Yeah, hopefully he didn't catch a glimpse. Hopefully.
Yeah, he kind of glances to you. He's like, well, you seem to be quite all right. So, I'll ask one of the... He kind of glances to you, Nethari, and then to the rest of you. Sane individuals, what happened?
Baylor, the creature.
Right,
One of the sane individuals, thank you.
It crashed, and then I lost it in safe mode.
I'm quite surprised you weren't aware while we took a break. Me and my friend here, Victoralis, went over to some sort of strange shrine, but given how suspicious and old it looked, we decided not to touch it. The shrine then seemed to sink into the ground, and then, well, a Baylor and 4 wolf-like demons started to attack. The fire comes from the explosion and happens when a Baylor is killed, which is becoming a habit for us lately, killing Baylors.
You're getting caught in the aftershock.
Kind of like...
You would have learned last time, wouldn't you?
He kind of glances from you to Nethari and then back again before looking around, and it's like walks past you all towards the epicenter where the Baylor stood before it self-destructed. Kind of glances around, like, oh, well, if this is the epicenter, given my research on demonic entities, as there's a Baylor at 30 feet, that doesn't really make much sense. Why would a Baylor be here?
Where are those wolf dog-like creatures, by the way? Can anyone see any of them? There were 4 at least.
Good idea. I take my dagger out and go looking for a carcass to...
The...
Probably medium rare by now, Neftari.
Uh-huh.
Let's take a look. See here. There is one that you do find is just behind one of the large rocks by where the cart was. One of the Shusuva, I'm pretty sure they were.
Yeah, that's what you called them.
Yes, Shusuva. I had to quickly go and find them there. So you do find one of the corpses of the Shusuva that is intact. The rest of them are all like completely destroyed. They were all caught in the blast radius of the Baylor. So you are able to find one of them that is intact. The body is quite badly mangled. It was one of the it was one that I believe Victorious had landed the killing blow on with the short swords. Can't quite remember in the combat. It was the last one that was marked with Hunter's Mark anyway. So
Well, I don't remember eating these before, so.
well, you actually have ate one of these. These were the creatures that some of the creatures that you fought when you were dealing with the werewolves, just outside, like on the cusp of the Parchwood Timberlands and Whitestone, when you were dealing with the werewolves. So you have actually ate one of these before.
I'm gonna eat one again.
All right, cool. Go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, Discord, what are you doing? It doesn't look right. Messages failed to load for dice tray. What devil?
Just
there we go.
There it goes. 17. Yeah, you like as you chow into the meat of this Shusuva, what's left of it anyway. Initially you don't feel any kind of negative side effects of eating this this creature, but after a couple of minutes, you do kind of like what had happened previously when you ate these creatures and the other demonic beings back at the werewolf den. Your hand does start to have a very, very subtle, but not too subtle, shake to your hand as you're after consuming this kind of meat.
So I'm getting used to it.
I wouldn't say you're getting used to it, because there's no kind of getting used to that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's the same with real life. Like, apparently, if you do actually consume human meat, you do get that kind of thing. You do get shakes, which you can never shake.
Really?
So yeah, apparently, I can't remember what the movie was.
So I'm told. Allegedly,
of course, I've never ate human meat. No, there was a movie I watched with there was a movie I watched with Denzel Washington in it, and it did touch on that subject, and the reason that there were two of the characters that the main two protagonists had came up to and were shaking so much is because they'd been killing travelers and providing human meat to other travelers at a price without actually explaining what it was, and that's where the shakes came from. So that's what I'm basing it off of. So because of your demonic nature and consuming demonic flesh and meat, it's almost cannibalistic for you. So is giving you that subtle shake.
Okay, I thought there was. Didn't we find an outlet for Shisuva parts? I'm sure we had found someone in one of the shops that really, really wanted the claws or something. Was it at the back of?
There are always uses in alchemy for different kinds of ingredients, as long as you can keep them fresh. This is all very foreign to me, though. I've never understood the biological creatures need to consume the flesh of others, of course.
I thought there was someone specifically who wanted Shisuva parts. No, that doesn't.
Sorry, are you okay? Normally, you just take all the teeth and the claws, regardless of whether there's somewhere to sell them.
I thought, yeah, I'll take them, but I thought there was some specific outlet for these.
Coralina, are you okay?
Do you want to take that one and run with it, DM?
This is on you. Like, I'm not taking control of your character. This is all you.
No, about the whole... I'm still at this guy's self.
Where is
No,
Coralina?
you transposed behind a tree and disguised yourself before coming back over. You just said that
Temple just called me Coralina.
Carl Rolina.
High or low, please, Kayla.
Low.
Okay. Temple, go ahead and roll me a deception check real quick.
Okay, some accidental deception here.
Mm-hmm.
Not clicked in the box.
18. Okay. Names weren't really distinctly given. The only real name that was actually provided was, I believe, Victorious's, because, he's a prince after all. So, given, because you were in a more elven form, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That you taken?
Yes.
Elves from there's elves from all over the multiverse, from down in the Underdark, such as the Drow, Wood Elves, High Elves. There are a lot of elves even in the Feywilds. So a name such as Korra, even for a male, since you did disguise yourself as a guy. I mean, no one's really to judge. Plus, rolling a 7 on an insight it doesn't really help that much either. He's not very wise, this guy.
It's a family name.
Interesting. But I'm assuming, Nethtar, you also drag this the Shisuva corpse to your companions to kind of prove the demon attack as well, instead of just eating it.
Well, yeah, and then I'll start slicing it up for its
bits.
There's a suspicious bite mark missing from it.
Yeah, there's just a very mouth-shaped chunk away from it, but you start taking out.
I'm gonna cut a good slice of flesh. Maybe later, save it for later.
But you do manage to go ahead and roll me a survival check as you start taking out the teeth and the claws. Elven individuals just.
Suva is a tray of brownies. Neftari probably cut in the middle of it to get the good part. The elf just kind of glances down oh my. Well, there's no real trace of the other demons, but very interesting indeed.
I may need to take this a bit further. Perhaps Sildor would best be made aware of demonic threats outside the doors. Anyway, regardless, the threat, you said it was because of an unmade offering to a shrine, was it, Metal Man?
Yes, not something I'm familiar with, despite my religious studies.
Well, if it was to do with a shrine and one of the many gods of this universe were angry that you didn't provide something and you are being punished for it, then perhaps we don't really have anything else to worry about. I don't think it's going to be a common occurrence. But if you all have a few moments of rest, I should be able to get the cart back up and fully operational in the next few minutes, and I can get you into the through the gates and to the inner walls of the Syngorn.
Is there anything I can do to assist? And likewise, I'd certainly like to take you upon that offer of cleaning us up.
Well, if you could kindly lift the cart on this side, and he kind of points to the closer side, the left side of the cart. There's just a very little mechanism that I need to get into, which is just under the spoke, one of the spokes here on the wheel bearing, that I need to get access to, and it's a little bit difficult while I'm on my back. So if I could just, if you could lift that for me, that would be very appreciative.
Absolutely. This spot here?
Yes, that would be absolutely perfect. If you could roll me a strength check. Yeah, but the fire now no longer looking at your body, and the heat, like the temperature in the air, equalized quite efficiently after the fire was extinguished. You're able to lift the cart a good like a half foot to a foot, not tilting it to a point where not lifting it to a point where the cart would tip over, but lifting it to a point where it was able to get underneath and work on the inner mechanism. A couple of minutes later, you do see some purple and pink sparks emitting from the area that he's working on. You do hear him just, bastard. Almost. One moment. And then with a loud click, and another flash of sparks, the cart does shudder forward in your grasp, Temple, as you kind of just let it go. It drops to the ground as the elf kind of rolls out from underneath it, and it does kind of shudder forward a few feet before coming to a stop. Kind of just looks at it and then looks to all of you. See, easy. I totally know what I'm doing. Shall we?
Much further is it?
Kind of like leans over the side, and if you follow his gaze, you can actually see the white and green adorned large walls that surround the perimeter of Syngorn. Half an hour, maybe?
And it's safe when we get there? I mean, I got battered by that thing exploding.
Once you get there, we'll be heading straight to the town ward, where there are many inns that will be open to service for people, for adventurers such as yourself, to rest and recuperate, get something to eat, and maybe some sleep after dealing with a Baylor.
I'm going to walk over to Neftari and just put a hand on his shoulder and cast 3rd level Cure Wounds.
Okay. Third level cure wounds. That's 3d8 plus 1, please. I had to think there.
And how does everybody else look? I'd like to cast a few cure wounds as well.
I'm gonna cure. I'm gonna cast exactly the same on myself immediately afterwards.
All right.
But
So that's for you, Neftari. So you regain 19 HP, and just do the exact same thing for yourself, Victorlus.
whee.
And yeah, 21 for yourself as well.
Hopefully, that'll see us okay until we get there.
Yeah, as long as nobody accidentally summons more demons.
Well, I sincerely doubt that there's going to be any more demons. Syngorn is a well-secured city with many proficient individuals within the arcane. After all, we do tend to transpose the entire city from here in the prime material to the Feywilds.
What? So they've got protection from demons?
I wouldn't say protection, but the demons and devils of all kinds are at a very distinct disadvantage, especially in the Feywilds. After all, you do have archfays that are there who preside over the lands, and demons and devils don't really have much sway in the area.
Okay.
Seem very knowledgeable about these things. Are these occurrences common, especially around this time?
Well, demons, not so much. Bandits, yes. And the transposition between the prime material and the Feywilds, it happens not... It's quite seldom that it happens for the sake of it happening. Sometimes the wardens tend to discuss transposition to have a change of scenery for a period of time. Otherwise, it is purely in the case of a dire emergency, such as if Syngorn was targeted for a siege, as an example. If an army from, say, Amon, or from up in Whitestone, or I can't really think. If an invasion from a Wildmount came to Tal'Dorei, Syngorn would, the wardens would probably transpose Syngorn to the Feywilds so that it couldn't be raided and potentially erased to the ground.
So it must take quite a lot of magic. Do you know how that works? Do they build it up over weeks and weeks to get it to go, or
the casting of the transposition does take quite some time for all of the casters to gather the correct materials, the correct components, and with the it has to be a unified somatic gesture, so all of the casters must be synchronized in order to successfully transpose the entire city.
what, a lot of magicians and druids and things all working together? Or?
Wizards more than magicians. That is quite. Well,
Right.
I won't say anything about that.
I would say wizardry, magician is a wonderful, wonderful subclass of wizardry. The noblest.
He just gives you a very deadpan stare, Temple, before. Just
It's not fucking magicianry, it's wizardry.
at least someone understands that being called
I will learn
a
wizardry.
magician. A magician does parlor tricks and sleight of hand and deception. True wizards, we are masters of the arcane.
What about wizards that use spells like invisibility?
That is still arcane manipulation.
Nonetheless, it is trickery and deception.
But it is not sleight of hand. Being able to, like, he picks up a coin and shows it to you. Being able to just make a coin disappears.
How did you do that? Incredible. Truly incredible. You must be a master magician.
Can I use minor illusion to create a replica of the exact same coin, just as he makes it disappear and make it appear in my hand?
Yeah, you can. And he just like opens his hand towards you and then points towards you, and then as you've got the illusion there, he kind of lifts the coin up into his own hand, and illusion, sleight of hand. When it comes to being a magician, it is for show. Wizards
Truly
such as
exemplary.
myself are, well, we are at least attempting to become masters of the arcane.
I'm gonna have a little sly grin to myself and just snap it.
It's not a parlor tricks. Anyway, before I get even more offended, shall we go? And he kind of very abruptly turns around and walks to the front of the cart and gets set up. You feel the rumble on the ground as the arcane engine that powers the cart seems to burst into life, and the cart slowly starts tilting forward as the wheels begin to roll.
Yeah, so do I manage to harvest some Shushiva pelts?
Yes, sorry. Sorry, on your 20, you're able to get the as much of the pelt that you're able to salvage as it had taken quite a bit of damage, but you're able to salvage quite a bit of it. It's quite riddled with holes from arrows and some slashes from short sword attacks and stuff, but you're able to salvage quite a bit of it. You're able to salvage 14 of the claws and 6 of the teeth. So 1 Shusuva pelt, 14 Shusuva claws, and 6 Shusuva teeth.
Okay, I've already got from a Shushiva 1 pelt, 3 spines, and 4 stingers. And I think that must have been from when we got them from the werewolves.
Previously, yes. So you still have them in your little bag of holding, because you do have one, don't you?
I've got pockets in my cloak.
Oh yeah, your pockets of holding. That's what it is.
But I was gonna try and get them of it.
Little pockets of holding.
Does the bag of holding really stink because of all the stuff that's in it?
No.
Does it infinitely not stink because there's all the space?
There's no air.
Yeah, it infinitely does not stink because everything that you put in is put into its own little pocket dimension.
Okay.
Because it's an extra dimensional
That being
space that you
said-
put stuff in.
That being said, we may about to be learned that Neftari's bag is an exception somehow.
No, his pockets
Says
don't.
nothing about the outside of the bag.
His pockets don't reek of like demon bits.
Not yet.
Yeah, that pocket of holding is got a pretty gross.
Yeah, I just imagine you dip your hand in it and all you hear is a
It's an impression.
just really grimy and disgusting sound as you put your hand in, then you pull out and it's just like really stringy bits of sinew, and just like Adam recommended, you just slowly just pull and pull and pull. It's like one of the magician's tricks of the like the cord that's in a hat is just just tear it out consistently. It's really stringy and disgusting. I can imagine that happening. Anyway, is there anything else you guys want to do before hopping on the cart and making your way to Syngorn itself?
Our host is already up front. I'm gonna pull Barkley out of the pocket dimension.
Yeah. How if I could spell? Hold on a second. Gorn. There we go. Why didn't that save? What the fuck? There we go, much better. Yeah, so as with a plume of brown smoke, a few feathers float to the ground. Barclay circles around you a couple of times before fluttering and dropping down on your shoulder. Just kind of ruffles himself up and says, "My lady, what can I do for you?"
Well, I'm glad you actually recognized me this time. Awesome.
Of course I'd recognize you. I know. I understand who is the one that conjures me into existence, even if you look extremely hideous. I won't even apologize. You look absolutely disgusting.
Okay,
Your disguised self as a bloke. Come on.
yeah. So, we're supposedly a half hour from Syngorn. I don't know if that's true or not, so could you please look ahead?
Yes.
Also, this guy doesn't know this, he doesn't know, I am what I am, so, you may have to play dumb.
Of course, my lady, I will play dumb, I guess. Cool. And he takes off from your shoulder, flying into the air.
Be a pigeon.
He just said that to you as he took off.
Now that I understood. Cool. That's right. Victoralis is pretty cool.
As you watch as a Barclay takes off and soars into the air, following the path to the southeast that leads towards Syngorn proper, towards the white and green walls that surround the city proper. Do you guys all get back onto the cart to continue down?
Yeah, I'll head back to the car. As we approach, I'm gonna just get to the back inside of Temple. Just put a hand on sort of Temple's shoulder, reach up. How are you doing there, Temple? And then I'm gonna cast my final 3rd level Cure Wounds.
Okay, to d8 plus 1 again, please.
Did I put 2 spaces there? Yes, I did.
All right, Temple, you regen 14 HP.
Okay, there's just some curiosity about Temple. I want to try cast my cantrip, Mending, on Temple.
I believe that would work if we welded something to me, Victoralis. Thank you for your help there, Victoralis. I had no idea you could even tell I was on the brink of death.
Be close myself.
For yourself, Nethitari, as you cast the cantrip of mending and just lightly play, like just pop your hand on Temple's shoulder, the cantrip just fizzles in your hand and dissipates. It has no effect on Temple. As it does say in the spell, an object you touch. Temple's class is a creature.
Yep.
Temple is people.
Temple is people. All right. So as you all hop onto the cart, and about as the elven individual said, you make your way through the like a half hour later. You make your way down the road and slowly climb up an incline that passes through a large gold and green gate. Glancing at the temple, you'd actually recognize this gemstone that's actually being used in construction. The green accents to the walls actually made out of jade. But as you pass through it, the environment seems to almost relax quite. Like the atmosphere just seems to relax almost instantly. Like the slight breeze that you'd felt beforehand as you're traveling through the countryside of Taldori seems to just immediately dissipate. The temperature goes from quite warm and humid to a very, very kind of biting cool sensation as you pass through. And as you glance around, the same white, almost marble with gold trim and jade accent does surround you completely. And Victorious, one of the first things that you notice in particular is a very strange adornment throughout the city as far as your eyes can make out as you glance at them. Are the trees aren't native here. The trees are, instead of having like a deep brown bark to them, are actually a almost maroon red color to them. Like in the right light, you could even say it looks almost purple. From your best guess, the link that Syngorn has to the Feywild itself, it seems to be more than just arcane. It seems that some of the Fey energy from the wilds may actually be connected to this area. So some of the wildlife from the Feywilds can actually grow and actually thrive here within Syngorn. And if you'll give me a few moments, here is a reference as you shift over to the map of Syngorn.
Wow.
Off to see the wizard.
The wonderful Wizard of Oz.
You've really outdone yourself today, Scott.
Oh, that's not me. That wasn't me. I have the artistic talents of a duck. That ain't me.
Now, we could have rolled with it. We could have gone, yep.
Wow.
Copyright Dragons and Dungeons and all looked at the
No,
camera.
I will go ahead and point out that this is actually a fan depiction of Syngorn that is in the credit does go to a one that goes by the name. It may not be the same under the same name, but Man of Mischief has done this fan-made map of Syngorn. So Man of Mischief, I do apologize for kind of stealing this for the time being, borrowing this for the time being. It could be stolen, I guess. I didn't really get permission.
Never
but,
admit guilt.
Never admit guilt. Fine, yeah, borrowed. Yeah, I'm borrowing this. I'll give it back. I promise. But no, Man of Mischief. This is definitely not mine. I wish I could.
It's too late. We're already trending on Twitter.
Yeah, Tea Leaf steals art. Oh my god.
Tea Leaf.
Yeah, you fucking little Tea Leaf. Not a thief, Tea Leaf.
That big jade gem we saw on the way in, is it similar on the inside as well? Are there lots of emeralds and expensive looking?
No, like the city itself seems to be comprised of what looks to be like a very brilliant white marble with gold accent flowing through the structure, reinforcing it. And most of the buildings are adorned with a jade accent to it as well. Like the roofs are primarily comprised of jade. The doors are lined with it. You do see a large citadel at the far back of the city on the northeastern complex that is comprised almost completely out of jade.
Ka-ching.
So
Would I know if Jade does anything for certain schools of magic or anything like that? That could be used as possible foci?
Go ahead and roll me an Arcana check.
Right.
I noticed you said kaching there, Neftari. Like many rocks, there are different levels of rarity and perfection of the kind of rock or gemstone. The kind of stuff they're using to build is not the kind of stuff you're going to be getting hold of.
Oh.
And likewise, were you to, it would be very heavy.
So that big one we saw on the way in, you wouldn't have to know the approximate value of such a.
Well, certainly not, given that it's used in construction, the kind that you want to use. If it's jewelry that you may want to buy a present for someone, it's much greener. You'd have to go speak to a gemstone specialist, but my goodness, we will not be stealing the city gates today. I hope you're kidding, but I am strong enough.
DM, would I, my father's back and forth with the Fae throughout my childhood, recognise any of this? Would it be familiar to me at all?
And yeah, like the like I said, the wildlife and the tree life around is very familiar. Like I said, it does look like it seems that some residual energy of the magical energy from the Feywild is.
Recognise it as the Feywild.
You'd recognize it as the Feywild, yes.
Cool.
Like almost like a hybrid of the Feywild and the Prime Material, because there are distinct architectural designs that you would never see in the Feywild. So it's clearly been made here, but there's still more. It's more plant life and animal life that you can see. That is that would be made home in the Feywilds. Coralina, the answer to your question, you from your research into like as you like when you were younger, going through your studies into the different schools of wizardry that you may have wanted to partake in, there was little small hints and little tidbits into a group of arcane beings who didn't really focus primarily on one school, but instead they focused on all schools and just provided arcane information from one member to another, known as the Arcana Pansophical. You know that they apparently have one, maybe more members here, but nobody knows who they are. They just know that they are arcane practitioners.
Natari, I suggest not stealing anything here.
I wasn't thinking of stealing anything. I mean, what do you take me for? I mean, just because the city's going to disappear to another realm in 2 weeks' time, and if I was to steal something, I could, the city's not here anymore, and who get in trouble. I mean, obviously, I wasn't thinking that at all.
Neftari, we're here on a potentially sensitive diplomatic mission to potentially rally the people who control this place to fight in a war that may very well not even concern them. And you want to steal the very earth itself.
Steal anything. Especially not in...
We don't do that anymore, Neftari.
No, of course not.
What I'm saying is that this is...
I have a good opportunity. No, what?
If this is the Fae, then there's a good chance my father's watching to skip across from one side to the other, like stepping into a portal. He'd be here, be watching.
Yeah, well, that's why we came. We were wondering whether the huge amount of magic that must be required to get this thing to shift would attract him for some reason.
I mean, certainly.
That's what he did with Denfasari, wasn't it? Shifted it somewhere? Duplicated it?
that I'm still not sure of. As far as I'm concerned, he destroyed it utterly, but it's back now, so maybe this place has some of the answers. All I'm thinking is maybe best not to draw too much attention to ourselves just yet.
Coralina, given that your very specialty in subject is summoning of things, and moving a city is kind of summoning it to another location, would moving this city be the kind of spell that requires a long amount of time or a huge amount of resources, magically speaking?
Would I know this, DM?
The information was already provided to you.
All right.
The elven individual has already explained that it takes a lot of material components and long synchronized somatic components. Yes, in order to actually transpose Syngorn to the Feywilds.
As to why the Jades here the reason why they might be everywhere is because it's trying to make sure it has contact with basically all of the city. It's kind of like when we plane shift and I have to have contact with each of you.
I see. So because Jade is an unusual element in the surroundings, you're able to determine while concentrating what area is city and what isn't.
Yeah, it's more like like I said with the joining of hands, of like where the limits of each of your things are. So when I'm trying to plane shift, I'm only plane shifting the 4 of us versus the 4 of us in like a tavern full of people, for example.
And tell me, when you're plane shifting, how is it you determine the location we arrive in, or is it entirely random in that play?
It depends on how specific I am. Like for example, if I say fuck it, I want to go home, I can show up in my bedroom if I want. Now, if I haven't really been there before, and if I'm vague, like saying Tal'Dorei itself, we could end up in Syngorn, we could end up in Stilben, we could end up in Amon, anywhere like that.
If I were to pinch you as you teleport, cause a small amount of pain, not that I'd ever do that, goodness me, could that cause you to be way off? Like that. Oh, I see. No. My concern is that were I an evil entity trying to disrupt the ongoings of another nation.
I'm specialized in conjuration, so you could even say break my wrist and I can still summon something and still maintain focus on it.
Goodness me, that would be horrible.
Oh yeah, that's how I learned to properly focus at 12.
I'm not really understanding humor even still, despite all my attempts.
What, they tortured you?
Oh, it's not really funny.
They tortured you and made you practice your spells while under. Seriously?
It wasn't really torture, it was more of combat for others' enjoyment.
A 12-year-old? Well.
It's how I have focus now.
At what cost?
My knowledge was transposed magically, so goodness me, I couldn't even imagine the pain you've been through to get to where you are today. Such a wonderful conjuration wizard as you are.
I mean, on the plus side, I'm ambidextrous.
Ooh. Temple appears to take note of that.
This hand and this hand.
I know. Neftari totally didn't know.
Temple wrote it down.
Can I, DM, use my... I'm just... At the moment, I can hear you guys talking in the background, literally scanning everything I can see, trying to hear, see any hint of nastiness. What's the thing I can do? I need to
look.
Primeval awareness.
Yep. Any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiend, or undead within 1 mile of you. Or 6 if you're in your favorite terrain. You sense several indications around you of fae, but that's it. You can't, as it dictates, you don't know how many of them there are or exactly where they are, but you feel the presence within a mile of you of fae.
And yeah, just Faye, nothing else.
Nothing else.
To know. Are we still on the cart? Or...
Yeah, you've been on the cart. You've been traveling through, and as you made your way through the city, you do roll up into a small ward of sorts, the Tarn ward that the elven individual had explained to you. Lots of jade roofed white buildings that appear to be places of commerce and trade. Lots of stores. None of them seem to be open at the moment, which is quite strange considering it's quite early in the afternoon. But you do just see a single building that does have a quite large 3-story tall building that has quite a lot of people coming and going. It seems to be the one of the only open inns at the moment.
I'd like to call to a cart driver. So why is it so quiet around here? What's...
The reason for that, well, the town ward, most of the time during the day is, it's not really when people want to conduct business, when people are just finishing their day at work outside of the city, or they're coming for a visit. It's mostly early evening to, late afternoon, early evening, when people tend to come and visit and money exchange hands for goods. So the warden of the ward, Rondell, has essentially put it in place that the district opens in the evening for a more lucrative business venture.
Like ourselves?
Such as yourselves, yes. If you would like to wait, and kind of like looks up into the sky, and it's getting in the time that you've travelled. It's about 2 in the afternoon, approximately. Kind of glances up and well, you probably have a couple of hours yet, but in a few hours this place will be bustling. A lot of buildings will be, a lot of the closed buildings will be open up. Some like carts and tables set up around, stations for people to flaunt their goods. This market here will be quite busy.
And how long do you think it is now until the city goes?
It's hard to say, really. Could be the next few days, could be a few weeks. Although, to be fair, they mentioned that they're going to be transitioning to the Feywilds. It normally is at the most a month in advance, so I would say a few, at the very most, a few weeks. So, plenty of time to stay and have your fill of Syngorn and stay as they transpose to the Feywilds and go and explore and experience the Feywilds, or you could leave in advance so that you don't go to the Feywilds. After all, unless you have a a very powerful wizard such as myself who can plane shift you back. You would be stuck there for however long they decide to stay in the Feywilds.
So if you don't want to go to the Feywilds, do they give you plenty of warning, like sound some horns or something?
They will provide. They will have some of their the towns, the Jade Guard going through and letting everyone know that the transposition is about to happen within the hour, and to leave the city if they do not want to go to the Feywilds.
What if I'm passed out drunk somewhere during that hour when they come round?
Then they will probably wake you up and see what you want to do. And if they can't wake you up, well, it sucks to be you.
I'll carry you. No, sorry.
If I passed out drunk, you will be too.
Let's see.
Oh, Captain Buzzkill over here, that's a new name I've given myself, will certainly use their magic to remove everyone's drunken state before such an important decision is to be made.
So, friend, what are your plans? Are you staying within the city, or?
I will be. I do actually have some business to attend to in the Emerald Citadel. I will need to converse with I wouldn't say colleague, but an acquaintance of mine about what happened outside.
Well, just in case even a great wizard as yourself needs any help with anything.
Yeah, like a witness who actually saw what happened. I mean, you were under the cart the whole time.
Yes, I was underneath the car trying to fix my own mistakes, but
Hiding.
trying to fix my own mistakes. Thank you very much. However,
are we still burnt, or have we got ourselves all cleaned up about?
he would have offered like mending to your clothing and stuff to actually make sure that you weren't still covered in soot and burnt and hair singed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I shall kindly ask that you depart here, as he the cart does slowly come to a shuddering stop. Just outside one of the inns. You glance up. It does read the Emerald Wain, so, and that's Wain for Wain. Kind of gestures to it. And if you do have any other questions about Syngorn and the inner workings of the arcane transposition from the prime material to the Feywilds, please don't hesitate to at least try and contact someone such as myself. The odds of you actually getting to the Emerald Citadel is unfortunately quite slim, but...
It's funny you should mention that.
Where might we find yourself, actually, if we do go with you?
If I'm not in the Emerald Citadel, you will find me in the Memory Ward.
If we were to gain access and an audience, shall we say, in the Emerald Citadel, how would we go about it?
Well, you would probably want to speak to one of our diplomats in order to seek an audience with the High Warden. What were your names again?
The Cape Crusaders! I'm just kidding, of course.
I would sincerely hope so.
Lord Neftari.
Lord Neftari.
The first.
Confirmed.
You were Temple, I believe, and he kind of points to you, Temple.
Yes, indeed.
Are you a lord as well?
Oh, no, of course not. Goodness gracious me. I am the
Yes.
personal knight to a lord.
Of course. And Coralina, was it? Mm-hmm.
You have your wizard suck at lying but pretending to be somebody else.
And yourself, sir? Memory altering magic is quite illegal in these parts, so I sincerely hope you do remember who you are.
It's more of a case of would I want that information passed on at this point?
Well, if I do not know who you are, I can't exactly see about getting you an audience with the High Warden now, can I? Or at least speaking to one of our diplomats.
And therein lies my hesitation. As
I don't think he's a demon as such. I don't think you can tell him your name.
I'm Victorious.
And your title?
And you have a title as well, Victorious?
No, Victorious. Will do fine.
Victorious. Just Victorious.
Victorious the Invincible.
Just
Kind of like it gives you another look up and down, primarily looking at the clothing that you're wearing and how you're really holding yourself, how you're like standing and maintaining your posture, and he kind of just looks at you. Just, yes, just Victorious. Kind of points at you and then points to you, Coralina. If you want to lie, you might want to get better at it. Lady Coralina. Coo. Have a good day, all of you.
I tried.
There are not many that speak the languages of the elementals, but Primordial is one of my favorite languages. Anyway, you all have a lovely day. And he just kind of sits down, feigns grabbing some reins and just makes the sound effects himself, and the cart slowly trundles away, heading up the hill towards the Emerald Citadel.
Not a recognized school of magic, by the way.
What was that?
The craft of artificing is not a recognized school of magic.
It is not, but I'm currently working on it, and as you can see, it is quite a bit more effective than conjuration.
Just like the School of War that never cropped up.
Actually,
But anyway, you guys are now alone in the town ward. What would you guys like to do? Say that again, Kayla.
Oh, this guy's self is dropped.
This guy's self is dropped. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, good. We gave someone all of our names and pissed them off.
I wouldn't say you've pissed them off.
I mean, we did lie to him, so.
When you point out that you two need to learn to lie better, was he pointing out Coralina and Victorialis?
Yes, because see, so he kind of realized that the way Victorious was speaking of, yes, I am just Victorious, that there is a title there that he doesn't want to give out. It was only 17 insight with a +5. So I didn't even have you guys roll for it, especially just the way that you're talking.
It's never my intention to.
Yeah, you weren't trying to be deceptive, but you were just you were just intentionally not giving out all the information. You weren't being deceptive as such, so there was no deception roll there. And
Nice by omission.
but and with Coralina, because I mean, that's the unfortunate thing about being able to speak to familiars and such. If you're speaking in a language that someone else actually understands, if you're trying to be deceptive and then like to one individual, but you're being truthful to another just in a different language, that can sometimes backfire.
Well,
Speaking of cuckoo, where is Sir Barkley anyway?
right there.
As you point up, you do see just off in the distance a small, like, bundle of brown feathers set up on a branch of a tree that's just overwatching yourselves, and quite a few of the words from.
I think he feels at home.
He's technically Fey, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So, whenever you summon a fey creature, it comes from the land where this city is going back to.
Technically speaking, yes. That's like every time I summon an elemental, I pull it from the elemental planes.
So, what's in the fey planes?
Fairies.
Imagine
Unicorns?
more of this. And a bit stranger, sorry.
This is pretty classy. I mean, you've seen all that gold gilt everywhere. What if you would peel it off? You'd have a nice stack of gold dust. I'm going to casually sort of walk over as trying to look as unsuspicious as possible over to something with gold gilt on it. I'm going to just try and just scratch a little bit off my knife.
Go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand check. Cat. 14. As you kind of like make your way over to the side, you draw your dagger from its sheath and just kind of very subtly kind of cross your arms and lean up against the barrier and start scratching away. It was at the gold accent you were looking to do, right? You kind of scratch away and, eventually just pull the blade away, and there is some fine gold dust on your blade. Glancing around, and no one seems to have noticed you, or at least no one's paying any attention to you.
Okay. Right, carry on scratching a bit more then.
Can I see if I would notice this? I'm not directly paying attention to.
Yeah, go ahead and roll. Nethtar, it'll be another sleight of hand check. Be a perception check from yourself, Victoria, and anyone else who's wanting to try and pay attention to this, you can do so as well. Let me do that. Cool. An 18 and 15. So, Victoria, you don't really. All you see is Nethtar just kind of leaning up against one of the barriers, just seemingly taking everything in. You don't really notice anything. And Nethtar and Corlina as well. Yeah, doesn't really. You're more focused on the fact that you were just insulted, and the prospect of the unification of all the structures and the walls and the people within Syngorn being transposed to the Feywild with all this the Jade amplifying.
How to fucking do it.
You're trying to figure it out in your head more than paying attention to what's going on around you. on your 18, Neftari, yeah, you're still just scratching away, trying to get as much of the gold out as possible. You just hear a slight pop, and something solid drops off, hits your blade and drops into your hand. As you pull away and glance down at it, there is a solid chunk of gold in your hand.
That's going somewhere safe in my pocket.
Yeah, sheath your a dagger and pop the gold chunk into your pocket.
Okay.
Go ahead and
where should
roll
we go?
very quickly, Nethtar. Go ahead and roll me a perception check. 26. As you're like sheathing your dagger and you're feeling quite confident with yourself that, you know, like this is like, and no one's paying attention. There's no guards around. It's not like anyone's actually going to notice the fact that I just vandalized this the gold here and I'm stealing from these people. Let me just pocket that. As you glance up, you see a very familiar looking visage above you, a distorted orb that is seemingly just floating about 20, 30 feet above your head. And as you then notice it, it just disappears.
Seen that before somewhere, have
You have seen it when you were in the elemental plane of Earth, when you were in the camp of the Tabaxi.
Right. Someone is watching me.
And yes, you recognize that as the result of a scrying spell.
If Neftari said that out loud, I'm going to immediately put my hood up.
Yep, just immediate.
What were you saying there, Neftari? I was looking at these fabulous geological structures.
Somebody's watching me.
Oh, what? Is there someone around? What have you done now?
No, there was a magic orb.
A magic orb? You mean like the one that flies around your head? That's supposed to be there, Neftari.
Yeah. Does anybody have any idea how law enforcement works in the Fae? Or,
No, why do you ask?
I don't know. What was that message I got from Colina's brother? Was it if I do anything, he'll be watching me or something? No, I can't remember. Oh dear.
I'm not sure. Do you have any idea what he's talking about? Coral?
Carolina's disguise self is gone.
I'm me again, so it's okay. Kind of already knows anyway, so. You're saying like an orb, like up above.
Yeah, it was just watching me.
Yeah, you were fucking scryed on.
Right.
Oh, no, not again. Who is it this time?
Don't know. Is there any way to find out?
I hope he didn't see you doing anything. It seems to be gone now.
Yeah. Hey.
Let's maybe not hang around here too long then. Shall we? I'm gonna. Did you say one place was open here?
Yeah, there's one very busy, or somewhat busy inn, the Emerald Wain, that you've got several people mulling in and out of.
Okay, just before we go to the pub, I'm going to try to take the golden nugget out and try to pop it back in the thing and just scratch it wrong.
Go ahead. You're going to have to give me a sleight of hand check at disadvantage. Yeah, as you kind of you slowly lean up against it, taking the chunk out your pocket, you kind of spin it around, try and get it to fit, press it in tightly, glance down, and you think, nice, that'll do it. And then suddenly you just hear a little clink, clink, as you kind of glance down and see the chunk has fallen out and is now sitting on the floor at your feet.
Oh, Neftari, you dropped this. Temple's going to helpfully pick up the thing that Neftari dropped.
Yeah, lean over, pick up the chunk of gold, pass it back to him.
Of course. Put it back in my pocket.
Temple just trots on.
Try my cantrip mending on the hole, which looks even bigger now for some reason.
Let me reread mending here a second. As you kind of press the chunk in and cast mending on it, that same kind of dull, kind of purple glow that you'd seen from the elf previously emits from your hand, and you let your hand away and just kind of glance down every so often, trying to be careful about it. And you think to yourself, yeah, no, that's fine. Step away. Clink, clink, clink. Mending's got no effect.
No, sorry, what are you doing?
Nothing. I kind of accidentally leant on it a bit hard and it broke a bit off.
Oh, I do that all the time. Don't worry about it.
I mean,
If you want to, both of you, Nethari Deception, Victorious Insight, please. Yeah, no, Victorious. You know, like, from where you're looking at this very thin vein of gold, there is no way that he could lean on it and break a bit off.
I'm going to walk straight over to the chunk of gold that's just landed on the floor, pick it up, and I'm going to grab Neftari's hand, put the damn bit of gold in his hand, and that's all you're getting for now. Coralina, are your people still spying on us? So what Neftari saw?
I could ask.
Worried that it might be not your family, but mine.
I mean, the
Could
only
very
one
well be
who
worse.
has a habit is Nassim, so
For now, I think we should.
Who do you think would win between the two of your families? That's a discussion we should have at length when we get to our destination.
All right, Corlene, are you going to
considering
be...
his dad has a staff that makes all arcane practices his bitch, probably his family.
Corlene, are you going to be casting Sending?
Yeah, we'll go for it.
All right, who are you sending to?
We'll reach out Nassim.
You're reaching out to Nassim. All right.
Alright,
What are you saying?
Here we go. Hey, so are you still scrying on us? Cause well, I'm not sure what exactly he is, but yeah, curious. I think that's 23.
That was 25 exactly.
Ah, yeah.
All right, cool. Let's see. 5% chance. All right. As far as you're aware, the spell is cast. Expend your spell slot, and
Hopefully, I should know.
that's it.
I feel it went flawlessly. You have nothing to worry about. I have an eye for these things.
Does it work?
Well, regardless, I think we're not most inconspicuous group. Perhaps some cover, blend in with the crowd, or at least get out of the open air.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to rest because I can't just pop us in the mansion if you feel like, unfortunately, because Baylor.
Yeah, I think we all could do with a rest.
We should head to the inn and get a room or a suite or something.
I do want to see what kind of, I guess, books would be available, and if, elves live a long time, they have a lot of time to read and study, so maybe something.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a look myself. Some hints of my father's research here, if we have time. But the state we're in, I don't think we'd be much use if we were to encounter another Baylor, for example.
Alright, so what's the plan?
So Elvish Inn.
You guys going in? Are you guys going into the inn, or what's the plan?
So
I'll start proceeding towards the inn
Mm-hmm.
as we get close to the entrance.
I'll keep my eyes peeled for law enforcement.
I'm going to take one platinum. I'll take one platinum
Mm-hmm.
and hand it over to Neftari. Get what you can with that. I'll be back in a minute. And then I'm going to try and, as we're like heading into the hubbub of the place itself, starting to mingle in, I'm going to try and just sneak off and do a bit of a perimeter search around.
Okay. As you do that, go ahead and roll me a stealth check. And I will say, with your roguish training, I'll give you this advantage. With the ability to just kind of like disappear and mingle in with the crowd.
Meanwhile, while he's doing that, I'll be doing a
23.
internal, no stealth whatsoever, as Temple does, assessment of the kind of military complement this place has, law enforcement complement, threats. That's usual assessment Temple does whenever he goes somewhere new.
All right, cool. With that, can all three of you, Temple, Neftari, Victoris, can all three of you roll me perception checks? Victoris, you're going to be advantaged for this one since you are blending into the crowd as you're going about doing your own thing. Oof, nat 20, nice. All right, so on an 8 Temple, it's quite strange. There seems to be almost zero military presence in the area. There's no, apparently, no guards or anything like that.
Would Temple, through common sense or of this kind of tactical arrangement, assume then that it be that the military arrangement or law enforcement arrangement is more likely something Orwellian or wizards in plain clothing?
You could very well. Actually, let me take a look at your passive insight here. 15. You could very well come to the conclusion that, given how the arcane infrastructure of Syngorn has been described to you, that the military might or the authoritative infrastructure of Syngorn might be more inclined, like undercover work, essentially. Like it could be wizards just disguised as your normal everyday being who are keeping an eye on everything. Or it could be a combination of both. But you're not 100% sure. But it is looking to be that way, as there doesn't seem to be any kind of guards posted around, no kind of military presence whatsoever. With the 23 Neftari, you don't really, as you're kind of looking around for any kind of authority making their way towards you. You don't see anything to begin with, but what you do kind of glimpse at the edge of your vision, kind of like at the far back of the groups that are now traversing this area, you do see flashes of white light are all around the ward. It could like it looks very familiar to some of the kind of flashes of light that you've experienced when you've been doing your plane shift and with Coralina. So it could be teleportation style magic. And Victorless, on your nat 20, your 31 perception check, as you kind of blend in with the crowd and start walking around the outskirts of the ward, hoping that your party goes into the tavern and kind of disappears from sight and hopefully just doesn't cause too much of a ruckus. You do see several bands, it's 4 groups of 4 heavily armored and armed individuals. Their armor is full plate armor decked in is a brilliant white sheen to it with gold trim and jade or emerald flecks, like almost scales dotted to their armor, seem to materialize out of portals that just appear in the ward. They start then marching, and as you kind of get behind them and glance over their shoulders, you do see that each group seems to be making a beeline straight to the Emerald Wayne.
I'm going to run up behind one of these groups.
Mm-hmm.
So come from behind them. So I've come from some other direction. Pretend I'm in a hurry. I'm going to dash past and just accidentally just clip one of them slightly as I go past. Oh, very, very sorry.
You'll be mindful for where you're going, civilian. We're on, unfortunately, some official business for the Pansophical, if you'll excuse us.
Pull down my hood, make myself as regal as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Prince Victorless of Denfasari. Don't know if you're familiar with the place.
The group immediately, like the 4 that you've bumped into, because it is, like I said, several groups of 4, they do suddenly stop. The individual at the front, the taller, more bulkier one, just turns to you, like, I'm sorry. Did you just say Prince?
Correct. I apologize. I don't normally conduct myself in this manner. So I'm in a hurry and understand the city itself will be on its way soon.
The transposition is expected to happen in the next couple of weeks.
I may not have much time. Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. Is there anything I can help you with?
Well, we've currently had we're currently carrying out orders from the High Warden. One of our watchers has detected the destruction of property in this area and has described the culprit, and they have been seen entering the Emerald Whale. We are about to go and deal with them. If they are a newcomer to the city, then they will be warned for their transgressions to not destroy the property. It is very often that newcomers do arrive, see the rare gemstones and metals throughout the city and try and take it for themselves. But alas, it is destruction of property and is against the laws of our fair city. We're going to deal with that right now and then be out of your hair.
Well, certainly appreciate your efficiency.
The one main benefit of our military aspect is that our men can be wherever they're needed, whenever they're needed. Maybe it may not be pinpoint accurate, but our watchers are scrying for any sign of crime happening throughout the city, and once the culprit has been located, a team is then dispatched to the area to deal with them, Your Highness.
Understood. Well, as I say, I just need to find my dog. Like I say, I'm short on time and somewhat of a hurry and panic. I'll leave you to your business, and I'll tend to mine.
Of course, Your Highness. If you do have any require any assistance, please do not hesitate to try and flag down one of our watchers and have one of our men come to you, and we will assist you in any way, shape, or form that we can provide.
Your help is appreciated.
Of course, he just gives you a curt nod before he turns on the spot, and the rest of his team start following in behind him.
Can I now, as soon as they turn around, I want to sprint and stealth as much as I can around the back of them so they don't spot me, and try and get back to the inn before they get there.
Okay, I'm going to need you to, first off, roll me a flat stealth check. You're not going to be at advantage anymore because you're no longer blending in with the crowd.
Stupid.
And 25, okay. And now I'd like you to go ahead and roll me 3 acrobatics checks. We'll see how well you're able to definitely avoid people as you start rushing through the crowd, trying to beat these guards back to the inn before they potentially make an arrest. 8, 21, 29. Ooh.
I suggest we Google parkour fails.
So as you begin, you let them tail away for about 10, 15 feet before you then immediately start sprinting around like, oh fuck, he's going to get in so much trouble, I need to be there. You immediately take around, taking kind of a elongated route around the guards trying to get back to the inn. As you kind of glance around, and you are managing to kind of avoid contact with a lot of the civilians as you're passing, but you do like kind of shoulder barge into a few as you're trying to push your way through the
Sorry, I've lost my
mass crowd.
dog. I've lost my dog.
Yeah. Apologies. Going. Sorry. Excuse me. No, I need to go. Sorry. Excuse me. Pardon me. You glance over and you do see that the guards are actually having quite a similar struggle. Like the with the time that has passed since you've gotten here, it seems that people are starting to set up their stalls and prepare for the opening of the market in the Tarn ward. So the groups of guards are struggling to get through to the inn, and you do get there just in time. As you pass through the doorway, you see your group just before you, which we will cut over to in just a moment. The guards are about maybe 10, 15 feet behind you as you cross the threshold. But before we get into all that, we will cut back in time to everyone else. So Neftari, Temple, and Coralina. Victoris has just disappeared in amongst the crowd as you guys have made your way into the Emerald Wain. Glancing inside, the environment goes from a bright white and green kind of surreal visage to quite a almost a comfortable experience as you go in. It seems very homey. You know, it goes from the bright white to the dull, kind of dark chocolate browns of a wooden interior. It's kind of laced with a lot of carpets that are dotted around. Instead of your standard booths and chairs, there seems to be, it looks to be like oversized pillows dotted around that a lot of people are then kind of slouched on. They're essentially bean bags that people are slouched on, enjoying their drinks, enjoying their meals, conversing with one another. It seems to be quite a populated area for the time being. And as you make your way in, there is tall, quite thin-looking male elven individual. A long flowing blonde hair that has highlights of red flowing through it. Adorned in what looks to be long flowing robes, a kind of cyan blue color flowing through them with highlights of white and flecks of the typical Syngorn jade flowing through them. He's giving orders to different in-hands around, and getting orders from one one table to another, passing out drinks, making sure they're getting to their destination. And as the excitement kind of starts to die down, and you do manage to form up with the queue and get up to the bar proper itself, the male individual kind of addresses you all and waves you forward as you get up to him, and he kind of looks to you all and says, "Oh, welcome to Emerald Wayne. My name is Kieri. I am the proprietor here at this inn, and it does seem to me that you are all very fresh here in Syngorn. Am I right?"
Yeah, you'd be right.
What gives you that impression?
Oh, well, for one, we don't see many Genasi or Warforged around, and you could do with a shave, my friend, but the rugged look does kind of suit you. It's not very often that you see a half-elf let themselves go, but you make it work, I can say that. But anyway, please, what can I do for you? We have many available rooms, as many rooms available as you would like. We have a somewhat short and sweet menu of food and drinks for you, available to you, but we do have that available. If you'd just like to get a seat and something to eat and something to drink before you move on, or a place to stay, please. I'm an open book. What can I get for you?
All of that. We're looking for somewhere to stay and something to drink. It's a local speciality.
Well, the one of our most current popular dishes for food, anyway. We do have a braised phoenix with a cashew bread. It's heavily sweetened, and one of the unfortunate sides to the people of Syngorn is that most of us do have quite a sweet tooth. So a lot of things are quite sweet and sugary more than anything else. But we do have a selection of different beverages for you, ranging from your very basic milks and waters to ciders, gins, mead, ale, wine, whatever you fancy. We do have the few odd bottles of whiskey here and there, or if you have something that is very particular to your taste, I'm sure I can make it happen.
What is it, like special elven beer?
I do have an elven.
No, of course, I'm a half elf. I'm just,
Well, I wouldn't expect all elves or even half elves to know absolutely everything that we have on offer in all parts of this multiverse. Don't you worry. But we do have a very sweet elven white wine that we do have produced here in Syngorn that I could offer to you to try.
Yeah, probably 3 glasses of that. You're not
Absolutely. Kind of reaches down and grabs out 3 wine glasses and
maybe 4. I think Devil might like to trade.
Oh goodness me! It'll just run right out of me. It won't even. There's not even a hole for it to go into.
So the 2 of yourselves and another companion, I'm assuming, waiting to join you.
Yep. We'll just take 3 glasses and we'll let the whole
3 glasses, absolutely. And with a very familiar snap of his fingers, a pure, like a clear wine bottle with a very fine-looking clear liquid with specks of blue sparkles just kind of floating through it, appears in his hand, and he very graciously pours out the 3 glasses and then snaps his fingers once again. The bottle disappears, slides the glasses too. On the house. Most newcomers have never tried Syngorn white wine, so please give it a try. And of course, pulls one of the glasses back. I'll keep this aside for your companion whenever they show up.
Okay.
You guys
Yeah.
giving it a try?
Yeah, hands a glass to Coralina and lift his own lesson.
Yep, give the wine a try. No concerts or anything like that. You don't really taste the you don't really feel the alcoholic effect of it. It is very, very sweet. But it does just it seems almost addicting as it runs down your throat. The first sip, you're just giving it a try, testing the waters, and it just suddenly hits you almost like it was a drug. You just suddenly feel like I could do with more of this and take a bigger sip and a bigger sip and then eventually just finish the glass, and it almost feels like it's trying to draw you in to drink more and more. Kara kind of looks at you all and is like, sorry?
That happened to all of us.
It happens to the two of you, yes. Because
Yeah, if it's I want more of it.
Because Victorious isn't quite there yet.
Ask.
Yes, as he kind of he looks at you all and kind of I would be very careful with. Oh, one of our very own.
Oh, I know, it's a neat trick, isn't it?
It's a very neat trick. It saves me a lot of expenses being able to just bring anything I want. And as he snaps two of his fingers, there's a plate of meat of various different meats appears on one side of the bar, and then a tankard full of ale appears on the other. It saves me a lot of expenses not having to go out and only having to sample something before being able to just bring it into existence. Oh yes, I've been working on my conjuration magic for quite some time. It takes a long time to master, but it is very possible to bring more than one item of your desire to conjure it into existence.
Neftari, perhaps.
Later.
Oh, have you not been shown this technique before?
Not as of yet. I have been jerking off a little bit.
Oh, well, my dear, I can most definitely give you a few hints into trying your hand at being able to conjure two things at once. But anyway, for a astute colleague or student of the same school, what else can I get for you all? Some food and a place to rest. Is that correct?
Oh.
So, how many rooms would you require?
Oh goodness me! Of course, no less than the best for my good companions. So certainly a very nice double room.
You don't
for the couple.
You don't need to worry about room compositions. I just need to know how many you need.
Oh, 3 humans, and I'm good for a cupboard. Honestly, the smallest cupboard you have that I can fit in, I'll happily stay in there.
So four rooms, perfect. I will. He kind of starts writing down something. It's not.
Are you gonna correct this? Are you good? Okay.
Yeah.
4.
3 rooms is fine, really.
Two of my companions like to coitally massage each other. Perhaps they should share a room.
Fucking Christ! He kind of just he starts writing with his right hand and taking a drink with the other. Right, forgive me. 3 rooms. I did not need to know that, but still, 3 rooms it is. And how long would you like to stay? I would also like to remind you, as your newcomers, the transposition we have been warned will be happening in the next few weeks. So anything longer than a few weeks, unless you do wish to travel with us to the Feywilds, you will be, taken to the Feywilds.
We don't really know what's happening yet, so a few days for now. And
A few days. So I'll mark it down for 4?
Yeah, we'll leave it with the option
4 days.
Open to stay later.
4 days with an option to extend, of course. With all of the food and drinks included. That will be 10 gold, please.
Yeah, okay. I pull out the 10 gold, but I also pull out the gold nugget.
Mm-hmm.
I accidentally broke this off a bit of something outside.
His expression goes from a very open smile to almost deadpan and almost angry in an instant. He's just... accidentally.
Please excuse my idiot companion, but we will be paying with actual gold, of course.
I mean, I was scratching an itch on back of my knee. My dagger accidentally kind of...
Deception check at disadvantage.
My dagger accidentally kind of gouged a little
Chunk.
out.
He kind of just looks at you. And he's about to open... He just kind of raises his finger and opens his mouth to say something, and then kind of glances over your shoulder. Oh. Well, if that's the case, then I'm sure that these fine gentlemen that are just about to enter the my estate before you, I'm sure they won't have anything to say to you. As you kind of turn around in confusion, you see Victorious kind of like...
Oh no, I was gonna run into the room going, Neftari, has anyone seen my dog? He's a golden retriever.
All right, as you do that, everyone kind of glances around to you. The mention of a golden retriever, you do hear whispers of, have you seen a golden retriever? No, there's no golden retriever here. What are you talking about? And Coyote kind of just like, there's not many animals that I allow into my establishment. So I don't think there's any golden retriever. Wait, did you say its name was Neftari?
Well, the golden retriever now, because Neftari is has transformed into
a wild shaped into a golden retriever. He's like, did you say that his name was Neftari? Kind of looks to where Neftari just was. Leans over the bar and just sees you kind of... I'm assuming you'd just be like, kind of like a golden retriever would, sat down, tail just wagging side to side, just panting happily, like...
Paws on the bar, like...
Hi, I'm Doggo. Hi. Tail just wagging side to side, like... Oh, you poor thing. Let me deal with this then, shall I? Kind of like turns on the spot, and you see just a veil of mist just drop over him as he misty steps out beyond all of you and walks over to Victorious and is like, yes, your lost companion is just over at the bar. Excuse me. And he goes to the front doorway and starts speaking to the guards who are just approaching behind you. The first guard that you spoke to, he kind of like looks over Kaire's shoulder and actually makes eye contact with you, Victorious, as you kind of just and kind of make your way over to Neftari, give him a pat, staying in character before conversing with Kairi. A few minutes go by. The guards one of the big guard kind of walks over. Like, well, sir, and kind of nods to Victorious. We have word that your companion may be golden in more than one ways. We do ask that he passes over the damage that was caused, and no further business will be conducted here for the time being. No warning, no trouble, nothing, just, well, a bit of a warning.
I will. Yes. He gets a little unruly when he gets off the leash, and I'm going to search around my body to see if I can find anything that vaguely resembles a leash that I might actually use for a dog.
I mean, you've got a belt.
Yeah, just something like.
Yeah, just take your belt off and just show it off, like not the buckle, just like you kind of loop it over and show it, like feign it off that as a leash, and you kind of just, of course. You do have. Do you have the chunk that was damaged at all, sir?
I turn back into Neftari. I think I left it on the bar.
As you wild shape back, just kind of almost like a child that's gotten in trouble. Like, here you go, sir. I'm sorry, sir. I won't do it again, sir. You just pass over it. We appreciate that you tried to fix the damage that you've done, but remember that, technically speaking, he kind of tosses the chunk into the air and catches it. Not only is it theft, but it is damage of property. We have eyes and ears everywhere. If you're caught doing something like this again, you will be arrested for it. This is your one and only warning. Please enjoy the rest of your day. And the guard, the lieutenant captain, you're not sure of his rank, but you do in Victorious, he does kind of hold his gaze to you for just a moment and gives you a curt nod, and then he and his three companions take a step back. They walk out the door, and after you watch him kind of like talking to his shoulder before a white portal apparates in front of him. The four of them step through the portal, and it just disappears as the guards leave the area. Kind of like just, well, a bit more trouble than when we've got some new adventures around, but oh well. Turns around on the spot, a veil of mist disappears as he misty steps back to the behind the bar.
Well, the nice and the guards in what's going on?
Neftari, it truly does confound me that you even bother, given how financially well off we are from legitimate work. It's like stealing hay when you own a barn. It really is rather silly.
I can't help it. Everything's made of gold.
Oh yes, you can't help it. You see the shiny thing, and you must have the shiny thing. Am I right?
Yes.
Now, to be fair, I do believe that coming from Neftari.
Well, to be fair, in your defense, a lot of people try that. It's not the first time that warning has been given, and it will most certainly not be the last. Most
making the city out of gold and gemstones.
Most new adventurers try their luck with that as well, but the Watchers are keeping an eye on everyone and everything. So, anytime they see something happening like that, it's reported and it is dealt with. You don't have to worry about it. Just try and not have your dagger accidentally gouge out a chunk of gold from the walls.
You know, Neftari, I'm surprised you haven't tried to steal my eyes from their very sockets. My goodness, that would be embarrassing were I not to notice.
Kerry kind of like returns to his scroll and looks up to you, Victorious, and oh, of course, my apologies. You must be the extra companion. Here, this is for you. Slides over the glass of almost looks like water too, but with like blue sparkles flowing through it every now and then. It's on the house. Your companions have already asked for it, and I'm currently working on getting you your 3 rooms for the stay.
You will very much probably like it. Neftari is the happiest I've ever seen him drinking that.
It's very Moorish.
I go to put my like one of my belts back on.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, Correlina, I mean,
I already have it.
got you. Let's start strapping it back around myself. Then I'm going to take a big old gulp of the drink.
Yeah, you just kind of swirl it around and take a gulp of the wine. It has no effect on you. It tastes like a slightly sweetened white wine.
This is good. Good choice. Take another gulp.
And that's where we have an interesting aspect of it. It is quite alluring to the non-elven individuals. Even if you do have elf blood flowing through your veins, like any kind of points to you, Neftari, as a half-elf. However, only the true elves don't really get almost addicted to the substance. So it doesn't really affect your companion here, but you almost feel like you have to have more. Just, I would highly advise that if you are going to conjure more of this, that you drink it in moderation. It is very addicting and very unhealthy for you if you drink it in large quantities.
Just 1 bottle at a time, sort of.
I would suggest maybe half a bottle at a time. It is no. You laugh, but I'm being very serious here. It is very addicting. Half a bottle is the most. If you can risk a bottle if you want to, I can tell you what to do and what not to do. But I would highly suggest not going any more than that. Drinking any more than that, and you may end up growing dependent on it. And it is very difficult to get off of that kind of dependency. Believe me, I've seen it happen. Anyway, we are done, signed, and paid for. Your room will be on the top floor, the second portal on the right-hand side. It should be red.
Oh, I'll deduct the 10 gold. Should I add a platinum that I received from Adam as well?
You can take off the 10 gold and sign a platinum instead.
Is he going to admit that he only costs 10 gold? Is Neftari
That's up to you. I mean, a platinum is 10 gold, so...
Oh, right. Okay.
Like, you're like, yes, I just gained something out of this. Oh, no, I didn't. Damn it. All right, so what are you guys doing now? You have your rooms available too.
Yeah, I'll finish my class.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've done a fine job of entering the city inconspicuously, not getting noticed, not making a name for ourselves.
My goodness, Victoralis, are you completely trolleyed? That's not at all what happened. We've, in fact, entered the city, rather particularly conspicuously, made our names very well known to many, made our names known to the guards, and barely gotten away with a whisker, and everybody thinks that Neftari is a golden retriever that can morph into an elf man.
Well, I would say more of an elf man that can morph into a golden retriever, but druids aren't that uncommon, to be fair.
So, I don't know about the rest of you, but I need a rest.
I too could do with some shut eye, not that I have eyelids. Is that creepy?
Quite. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very strange to see that you just stare almost lifelessly at people when you're conversing with them. It is very strange.
Yes, and I'm sleeping right now.
What are you doing when you think he's sleeping?
I've
Oh,
actually already began an inactive state.
That
Anyway,
would be
good
very,
night.
very weird to know that you're watching over you with just that unblinking stare.
Yes,
I do not
don't
envy you.
sleep in the typical sense. However, I do envy those who can dream.
Well, you envy us all then.
It's excellent for getting reading in, though, I must say.
I guess it would be. Although I would get through quite a lot of books doing that. I'm not going to lie.
If only I could carry books somehow magically in such a way that I didn't have to haul so many around. My goodness, I'd be so knowledgeable.
Well, I do envy you in that regard. But anyway, please, if you would kindly, again, 3rd floor, right-hand side, 2nd portal on the right, should be red. I do have other customers waiting for you, if you'd be so kind. I will say that if you do have any nutritional requirements while you're in your rooms, all you need to do is ask.
I'll have a plate of finest meats, bread, a casket of your finest ale.
It will be there when you arrive in your rooms.
Appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. As you kind of, almost with a hint of confusion that I hear in your voice and the looks that I got on the camera, as you kind of very confusedly walk away and ascend up the staircase. You get to the 3rd floor and open the doorway out, and it's very confusing as you step through, but there are just strings, just rows of portals heading down the corridor. There's no actual rooms, but you do see on the 2nd portal in from the right is a red color. The rest of the portals are just a dull grey color. As it finally clicks to for Coralina.
My character has been drinking, so.
But yes, as you can all recognize, it seems to be a hallway of Mordenkainen's magnificent mansions. Yes, as you enter I'm assuming you all entered your respective portal for your rooms.
Victoralis, may I rest in your room with you? I seems suboptimal to use simply my own room, and goodness me, anything could happen. I can stand at the end of the bed, or in an entirely different room within your own mansion.
So we could all use the same mansion. Just rooms appear in the mansion, don't we? Is that what you meant? It's a one portal for all of us?
Well, as you step through the portal, you do see that the rooms themselves, as you step through the portal, there are already 3 rooms set out, one ahead of you, one to your left, and one to your right.
Why is there a mirror on the ceiling?
But as you open the doors to each individual room, you do see that none of the rooms are actually furnished. As you open it up, and it's just empty. It's just a wooden room. Closing the door once again, as per the rules of Mordenkainen's, you just imagine what you need to have in your room, and it will be there. So whatever you would like in your respective room, a large king size bed, just a small single, a workplace, bookshelves, like closet, all that sort of shit. Whatever you need, whatever you imagine will be there for you the moment you open the door again.
I have trust issues with these circumstances.
As do I. Temple.
I would not enter someone else's, another magician's summon portal. Sorry, Coralina, wizards. Summon portal where I'm not trusting, given that, well, goodness me, that thing could open out when I leave in an entirely terrible place. So I feel we should enter a mansion together, and therefore be in the same dimensional plane, or I won't be entering at all, and I'll be sleeping on the street, which is much more glamorous than it sounds. You meet all kinds of wonderful people.
I mean, you realize these are exactly the same thing I do, right?
Yes, yes, but the difference is I trust you, which is just lovely.
Well, the good landlord did save us from a difficult altercation with our golden retriever here.
While that is true, for risk of separation, dimensionally speaking, I'd rather not separate myself from you, Lord Victoralis. I must insist that I stand exactly on the end of your bed, watching you as you sleep.
Cornelia, you know about this scrying, this watching that they're doing. Could it pass through the gates of a portal?
I know that, DM.
Let's go and find out.
I don't remember if it's specifically said.
Yes, let us find out for scrying in the PHB. It's been a while since I've actually had to do this, since I've not actually had it like readily available on D&D Beyond, but hey ho. Scry. No, it will not, because technically speaking, once you enter through the portal to the Morn Cannon's magnificent mansion, you are in an extra dimensional space. So you can see and hear a particular creature you choose that is on the same plane of existence as you.
Yeah, so no, it won't be able to see through it. That's why I usually keep this spell myself for when we're camping out.
Well then, given what we've seen and heard, this is probably the safest place for us.
Yep.
Okay. I'm just gonna go walk through the portal.
Temple's going to follow Victoralis into his portal.
Well, if you walk through the portal, it would just be the inside of the mansion with the 3 doors that I described before. It's not like you go through. It's not 3 portals. It's a single portal to a. It's and this is what is interesting to you, Corlina, is it's a pre-built Morn Cannon's magnificent mansion.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so you pass through the portal and there's already 3 doors to 3 rooms set up there.
So we're not in entirely separate mansions that have been.
No, it's one mansion with 3 rooms. That's what it is. I'm sorry if it was a bit confusing as how I described it.
That's okay, then perhaps I should clarify. A temple follows Victoralis into his room.
Right. Okay. Yes, it is a single portal that leads to 3 rooms.
Not just a mirror on the ceiling. There's also a spread of food. There's a roast piglet with an apple in its snout. On the side.
Well, actually, surprisingly, the mirror on the ceiling and the roast piglet doesn't appear.
Oh.
In the foyer that you're in just now, anything that you imagine, nothing comes of it. If you go into one of your rooms, however, you'll notice the mirror on the ceiling and the roast piglet on the side. It is purely based, so essentially, out of game.
Okay, so only to the bedrooms.
Out of game, yes. The only thing that you can manipulate within this magnificent mansion that you have rented out is the room that has been assigned to you. So you can't actually just be like, right, I want 6 bedrooms and a sex dungeon, because I know someone in particular would want a sex dungeon, David. He's not denying it. See, I know you too well. Yeah, you have done it before, actually, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, you wouldn't be able to add on like a ton of different rooms for you to utilize. You have these 3 rooms, but you can add to those rooms wherever you see fit. So you could technically add on like an extra bathroom, like in another room, which is a bathroom, into your bedroom. But anything beyond, like anything that you're any additions that you're making has to be to the inside the bedroom, and some of them may, or like some additions that you may want might not actually work.
I wonder if we could. I wonder if there's a balcony to look over the city.
I don't know. No.
If you step into your room and imagine that into your room, no, you're in an extra dimensional space, so it can't actually it can't create the visage of a balcony overlooking Syngorn while you're inside this extra dimensional space.
But you could have a picture of a window of Syngorn.
Yeah. And as you say that, Coralina, a large canvas appears before you as what looks to be a picture of a balcony with frozen birds floating through on a perfectly like summer day, and capturing just beyond that is the visage of the Emerald Citadel in all of its glory before you.
Sometimes you just gotta get creative.
That'll do.
Speaking of which, Temple, shall we see what they've done with your room? I'm going to walk over to one of the doors for Temple.
Okay.
To
as-
follow me up.
If you
Temple
enter
opens, Temple would very much. You've seen the Futurama episode, the first one, I think. Bender's
Never-
closet.
never.
Fry moves into.
never watched Futurama, actually, I'm not gonna lie.
It's just a it's just a call closet.
It's just barely big enough for a human to fit in.
Right, okay.
There's another door behind it to a huge apartment, but Bender stays in this bit that he thinks is the whole apartment.
Okay, fair enough. No, almost as you open the door, because you've not actually thought of any additions, like yourself, Temple. As you open the door, it's just a very bland, blank room. 4 walls, a roof, floor, and that's it.
How bland.
I love it. I knew that was coming. I love it.
Could do to be a little smaller. Too much room for invisible wizards.
The wall, as you mentioned, it could be a bit smaller. The room kind of slowly shrinks into about half the size.
But should still be big enough to swing a cat.
Opens up about an extra 10. Opens up about an extra 10%.
Optimal, I like it. Anyway, good night, Victor Alice. This is wonderfully comfortable. Look at all this room I have. Temple stands in the middle of the room, facing the door, and just goes still.
Just stands there, just. The door just.
Do you want me to leave the light on, Temple?
Temple does not respond or react.
I'm going to leave the door just slightly open.
A little crack of light coming through from the slight crack in the doorway.
And I'll head over to mine.
All right. And is there anything in particular you would like in your room, Victorlus?
I'd like to make it as large as the mansion will allow.
Uh-huh.
And I would like fresh lawn laid upon the ground.
It's like a hyperbolic time chamber, just it goes infinite.
It's just infinite in one direction. But yeah, lawn. So yeah, the what kind of like early dawn kind of lawn, or
a well-watered summer lawn,
okay.
Lush green, thick grass.
Yeah, the wood, like each individual kind of wooden plank board kind of just like turns on itself, and going from wood turns into a string of grass that then spans out and fills up the entire room, so it becomes a fresh summer lawn.
A pool with a bit of a stream and maybe a bit of a slight waterfall.
Yeah, like a natural rock formation forms in the corner with a natural waterfall flowing from the top, and that stream then kind of digs itself through the floor and weaves off into the infiniteness of the room itself. It just disappears into a wall, but you can assume it just like transports back up, and the water is infinitely flowing.
And then just pictures of, because I know that I can't create a forest around me, but images that surround all of the
You have like a roof to floor canvas of multiple different like different trees that like kind of blend in with one another to give you the kind of illusion of a forest just disappearing to the darkness behind you. On do you want that on all the walls, or just like 1, 2, 3?
No, just complete surrounding.
Just complete surrounding?
An open, calm space as I possibly can.
Minus the obvious door. Yeah. Yeah, like as much of the room becomes a visage of what looks to be a dark, infinitely expanding forest.
A small wooden table.
Mm-hmm.
And the selection of cured meats and fine ales that I'd requested earlier.
Yep, they materialize before you.
I'm going to take myself a big old tankard of ale, big handful of meat,
Mm-hmm.
sit down on the soft grass, and just lean back and rest my head for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And after a few ales and a good feed, I'm just going to listen to the waterfall and go into a meditative state.
All right, cool. Neftari and Coralina, what do you guys want in your room? Besides the pot-boiled pig that's on the side with an apple in its mouth and the mirror on the ceiling.
Yeah, I just thought that was weird.
Deep, thick carpets.
Yeah. The wooden floor again just folds over into a nice thick carpet. What color?
Deep red.
A deep red color, yeah.
Velvet decorations, curtains and things.
Yeah, and like you want like a 4-post bed with the
Yeah, really expensive wood everywhere.
Yeah, a nice deep brown varnished mahogany 4-poster bed materializes with a not as deep, a few shades lighter of red velvet curtains and hangings adorning to the bed.
It looks to Coralina. Your turn. What do you?
Probably a nice, like, when I say a plush like chair, I want like big enough to fit like 2 people. So like basically 2 of Coralina almost. And yeah, a nice little reading area. It'd be nice.
Sorry, could you repeat the first part there, Coralina? I was having to respond to something. I'm getting the reading area. The first part, sorry.
The first part being like the like a huge plush like chair, but it's like big enough to fit like 2 people in it.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah.
Nice little reading area.
Yeah, you're able to conjure that. It's not quite a sofa, but it's quite like you said, quite plush, and it's able to sit down like anywhere between 2 to 3 people, and a nice reading area. And like I mentioned, a reading area, some large bookshelves materialize. There seem to be books on it, but you're not sure if they're actually real.
I thought they're all just empty.
Yeah, you don't know if they're real. They may just be there for show. You'd have to double check them.
That's fine. That's if you want to show off, but I have actual books with me, so that's okay.
Okay.
That's all I really wanted. So.
All right.
I want to attempt to read a book. Is it The Jailer and My Captive? The first one I pick up.
From the bookshelf.
Oh, yeah. What was that book?
If you go to the bookshelf and pick up anything at random, the moment you open the book itself, the pages are blank. It's just there for decor. That's it. It's not. They're not actual books. Okay, and is that everything for yourselves?
I mean, I know when I usually unpack, my books are the first thing that comes out.
All right. Well, and I'm assuming with that, are you guys going to go for your long rest as well?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll certainly
Yeah, you're
take
supposed
4
to.
hours meditation. Yep.
Okay. You guys are going to, and so Neftari, Corleone, if you guys want to do anything else, just speak up. Let me know.
Oh, I mean, you mentioned what was it, the Tarn district? With all
Yeah,
the shops and
the
all that?
Tarn Ward. Yeah.
They are only available at night.
Yes.
If we
Wait.
sleep now, because we are fucking normies, we'll probably miss it.
Yes. But you're given your current state, you'd be pushing on levels of exhaustion if you were to go out. Well, no, well, not so much you, since you didn't really take much, but anyone else would be pushing on levels of exhaustion if you went out into the Tarn War to go and buy stuff.
No worries, I can wait a day. It's just a day.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, you know,
I thought it's
I can.
mid-afternoon now. I'm sure we'd wake up in the middle of the night, wouldn't I?
Given the fight that you guys have just had, if you guys go for a long rest, you'd probably sleep all the way through the night.
Okay.
I mean, well, if you want, I'd like to cash in my last favor, if that's okay with you.
Okay. Should I heal myself first? Some more?
Damn.
If you want to.
Wow.
Damn. All right. So,
What's
Bait the Black,
flavor?
Corlina?
Actually, no.
Ooh.
That wasn't my last favor.
All right. What's your last favor then? Go on.
Get Neftari to sit down in the armchair. Table now. Summon another bottle of that wine.
Mm-hmm.
2 glasses, please.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes a third.
Okay.
Like a third one shows up. I'll sit down in a chair opposite.
Oh no.
Pull your boy out of the pocket dimension.
Yeah,
Sit
I know
on
this
the
is
table.
going.
And just reach over, touch Neftari on the back of the hand, cast tongues.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like you two to talk it out because honestly, I can't be in the middle of this bullshit anymore.
God, why me?
Excellent.
Excellent redirect. Fuck, I blew spell slots for this.
All right, cool. We'll get to that in a bit, but for the time being, if I may ask, Adam, David, and Kayla to step away from the table, please.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's
do you mean?
exact. Step away from the table. Either you can stay there if you'd like and just mute and deafen, or
All right.
we'll walk away, whichever you would like, because I've got something to do here.
Okay.
So if you would all kindly step away from the table,
I'll go and take a bio break, I guess.
you do that. All right, cool. For the first time in a long time, Evelyn.
I know. I miss these so much. Temple
What would you like
closes
to
the
do?
door. That little bit of ajar door.
Mm-hmm.
Temple closes it. Temple knows how a magnificent mansion works.
Mm-hmm.
Lengthen the room about 200 meters in one direction.
The room lengthens about an extra 75. Doesn't go the full 200.
That'll have to do. Target dummy. At the end of the room, approximately Neftari's shape and size.
A visage of a half-elf appears. It's quite clearly a dummy, but appears on the other side of the room.
For the next 2 hours, before Temple's Sentry's Rest takes place, Temple is going to be practicing throwing his trident at the target.
Ooh, okay.
How on
Very
earth do we tell them to
interesting.
come back?
I can at everyone in the call and
Come back, come back.
get them to come back. But yeah, is there anything else you would like to add on to the?
If the target can be moved at some points, just
No, you do have free control,
It's
like
target
full control
practice.
of the room. I will advise you with the trident, with your practice. It does have range increments from 20 to 60. So you'd need to be within 20 feet of something to be able to accurately hit it without any disadvantage, like for combat sake as well, like going forward. So in combat scenario, if you're 25 feet away from your target with the trident and you want to throw it, you would immediately be at disadvantage on the attack because you're technically a long range.
that's all right. It's only practice.
Yep.
And that's
No, I
what
get that.
We'll be doing.
I get that. Cool. Right. So let me just go to the chat and here. Oh, shit.
No, we've lost him forever now.
Yep, there we go. Here, we'll come back when you guys are ready. Yeah, okay. So you do exactly that. Well, welcome back, Kayla. As things have happened and things have been said and done.
I like to imagine David has actually just gone out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if David's just like,
gone for a
okay,
walk.
bye. I'm gonna go outside for a few moments.
Bye.
But no, with that, we'll wait for both Adam and David to come back. But we will be calling an end to the session here tonight with that, as you guys have managed to get set up in Syngorn. Welcome back, Adam. I was just saying, we are probably going to call, even with that happening, it is 20 past 11, so we are going to call an end to the session there once everyone is back, as you have set up in Syngorn, ready to begin the next step of your adventure in bringing potentially another alliance into the fold. So we'll wait for David to come back before we truly finish
Such
this
a
up.
cliffhanger to end on that. Three people aren't
Three
even aware of.
of the players don't even know what's happened, so that's great. I will actually go and emphasize this, that at any time that you guys want to do something in secret that you want to have happen in game but not have the other players aware of, feel free to ask. If you can, feel free to DM me or ping me in your notes channel and say, hey, can I do this by myself? Can I have the table alone? And I will do exactly that. Ask people to vacate the table so that you could just be a one-on-one thing. Don't be afraid to do that if you guys want to do that for secret character development or something like that. But welcome back, David. Sorry for having you disappear like that. But with that, you guys have set up in the tavern within the Emerald Wain. You have your own privately set up room of your own design to rest and recuperate in, to relax, have some drinks, have a probably very drawn out and arduous conversation between two very, very stubborn individuals, and a almost complete depiction of home for you to spend the night in. But with that, we will call an end to the session there. Any questions, any concerns from the players before we wrap everything up? How was tonight for you guys?
Yeah, good.
Very good. I've got terrible backache, so I've been all fidgety all night.
I love that. It's just Adam in the background. They're just like, yeah, okay.
Vic's just really fucking nervous about being in this whole place.
I've designed the scenario of you being in Syngorn with that in mind, considering that it has connections to the Feywild, which technically has connections to Kenjor. So I'm well aware of Victorialis's frame of mind going forward into this next leg of the campaign. Yeah, David, Kayla, anything you guys want to add on? Any comments, concerns?
I liked it. A nice change of pace after the combat of last week.
It was nice and relaxed and no real tension built with...
Apart from some idiot trying to steal bits of gold off the upholstery.
Good lord.
Like, it's my first 10 minutes within this city. Let me see if I can steal a bit of this gold here. Fuck's sake, David.
One day that character trait is going to save our lives somehow. Like, we can't revivify Coralina. Has anyone got any diamonds? Oh, I stole these diamonds like 10 minutes ago.
I stole, these diamonds were just... I found these diamonds. I definitely didn't just steal them about 5 minutes ago from the wall over there. Definitely not.
That looks awfully like one of Temple's eyes. Anyway, never mind. Give it here.
Yeah, Kayla, anything?
No.
All right. Well, with that, we will call a full end to tonight's session. Next week, I'm no longer on holiday, so next week everything will be up in arms for sessions throughout the week. Sunday I'm off, so again, barring any sudden changes in plans or any emergencies or anything like that, or anything that happens with you guys, the session should be going forward for next week, and we'll hopefully have a lot more to do in the Tarn Ward going forward as you guys see about getting your potential alliance within Syngorn. But
Cool.
with that, we will call the session to an end. Remember to stay safe out there, guys. This pandemic is still going on. Places are going into lockdown. Scotland hasn't gone in complete lockdown yet, but we're slowly edging that way. So remember, everyone, stay safe, wash your hands, wear your masks, and remember that you're out there not only, the masks are there not only to protect you, but to protect others as well. With that, we'll call an end to the session. We'll catch you guys next week. Bye!
Bye-bye.